Hello, my name is Sai Palacios and my team members are Grace Bray, Francisco Hernandez, and Marina Michelena. And today we will be performing two experiments to compare and contrast the effectiveness of both three brands of detergents and soaps. The detergent that we will be using would be Member's Mark from Walmart, Persil, and Mascolor. On the other hand, the soaps that we will be using would be Dove, Kleenex, and Jabón Zote, which are soap bars. Before we start with the experiment, it is important to remember that soaps are more biodegradable than most detergent. This is because the materials and elements required to make a detergent are usually pollutants such as sulfur dioxide. Because soap is made out of natural fats and oils, they are considered to be more biodegradable. And now we'll return to the experiment. They consist on adding grape juice to a shirt and then comparing the effectiveness of each soap and detergent. Will they work? Will the spot be reduced? Let's find out.
The first experiment will be conducted on three brands of detergents, Mascolor, Persil, and Member's Mark. And the second one will be conducted by soaps, which will be Jabón Zote, Dove, and Kleenex. For both of the experiments, we will need 9 white t-shirts, 15 milliliters of grape juice per each one, and as well 20 milliliters of detergent and 1 liter of water, also per each one.
The procedure to make the first experiment will be, first of all, start measuring the constants. Measure the 20 milliliters of the different detergents, the 50 milliliters of grape juice, and the liter of water. Then we will be placing the three interior t-shirts in a plain surface, marking them some way so we don't confuse them. Then we will pour the grape juice into the t-shirts, being careful of not splashing the outsides of it. We'll let the stain settle for 1 minute, and then we pour the detergent over the stain, being careful that it covers the most area possible. With the aid of a finger, we expand the detergent over the whole stain, covering it completely. Then we'll let it action for about 10 minutes. Finally, we pour an entire liter of water into the whole stain, removing the excess of detergent in the process. Then we just measure the results and write them in a notebook. The procedure for the second experiment is, first of all, measuring our constants, the 50 milliliters of grape juice and the liter of water. Then we place out 3 t-shirts in a plain surface. After that, we pour the grape juice into the t-shirts, giving them a minute to settle. Next, we start rubbing the soap with the t-shirt. We do it for an entire minute. Afterwards, the liter of water is poured into the whole area of the stain, removing the soap in the process. Finally, we measure the results and keep record of them.
The final results for the detergent experiment were as follows. Mascolor detergent had an initial average circumference of 79, a final circumference of 65.5, an initial opacity of 100, and a final average opacity of 21%. Walmart's Mark Member detergent had an initial average circumference of 92.63 centimeters, a final circumference of 89.6, an initial average opacity of 100, and a final average opacity of 12.33. Persil detergent had an initial average circumference of 83.3, a final circumference of 70.6, an initial opacity of 100, and a final opacity of 8.6. As to the experiment made with a soap, the answers were the following. Dove soap had an initial average circumference of 84.5, a final circumference of 81.5, an initial opacity of 100, and a final average opacity of 18%. Kleenex soap had an initial average circumference of 99.43, a final circumference of 96.6, an initial average opacity of 100, and a final average opacity of 7.7, and finally Jabón Zote had an initial circumference of 83, a final circumference of 55, an initial opacity of 100, and a final average opacity of 7.6.